Hi, everyone.
Oh, hi.
Welcome back.
Welcome, welcome. We're so happy to see you all here. And I am Coach Rochelle.
I'm Coach Alisha Schwartz. We're the mother-daughter dynamic duo.
Boy, are we dynamic. You should only know how dynamic we are, right?
I mean, coaching for over
27?
27 years, really
In so
honing
many
in.
areas, right?
Yeah, honing in on. I think the thing that we do the best, one of the things, is
Mhm.
that, we work with people and we have such compassion and care. And we provide such a safe place for people to really go to those places where they're stuck,
Yeah.
where they need more light, where they need more love, and how to give it to themselves so they can be full and whole.
And I think that's because of the work we do on
That's
ourselves, with
100%.
ourselves. Otherwise, we could never, ever, ever hold that sacred space for you guys, ever. And doesn't it primarily come back to a relationship with yourself first?
Absolutely. And today's topic.
Oh, wow. Am I good for this
Comparison
one?
is a confidence killer. How many people out there
Oh,
compare all the time, whether that's through social media, you're comparing who you are, what you do, what you don't do, who you are, who you're not.
yeah, and
Right?
it can work. It can work for you.
It can, but today we're really,
But it
how it
really works against you. And I am the top person for that one.
It does. It destroys
It's
your
very,
confidence.
yes,
It's a
100%.
confidence killer.
And ever since
Oh,
social media came
yeah.
on, what? Go ahead.
And then after we have this amazing conversation about it, share a little bit, we're going to talk to a special guest, Rochelle Soto. We'll have her on in a little bit. Okay, going back to,
having social media now, and it's like wherever you go, if someone's selling something, it's like, it's amazing. Now, for me personally,
where does that show up for you with the confidence
well,
killer?
it shows up on what I'm not doing and what I could be doing. And it's like a spiral where I'm coming down and then I get overwhelmed and depressed.
Okay, so before we get into that, let's do our intro
Oh,
video.
In a world that's rushing, we slow it down, finding light where shadows surround. Heart to heart, where the truth is told. We rise together, stories unfold. The gold is within. If you don't go within, you go without. Every voice, every heart, it's what we're about. Together we rise, hand in hand, soul to soul.
We love that song. And of course, we have that special guest on today who really made that intro song
so
for us.
And it was quick. I mean, it was just so quick.
Amazing. She's
just
to you about
an
that.
absolute artist. She really is.
Amazing. So we thank you, and we'll
yes,
have you on
we will have her on in a few minutes.
Okay, let's get back to this amazing topic. Comparison is a confidence killer. So what story would you like to share about that today, Rochelle?
It's like a run-on sentence for me. It really is. It's always seems to be with business, and for all the years of working in what we do, which is coaching in relationships and shadow work, all the things about your shadow, that you bring light to the darkness. But I think that when you look at everybody else and you go onto the internet and you start to look, and then you see people doing things and you're going, well, I could do that. Why haven't I? And then you beat the crap out of yourself for not doing it. Or, you keep on looking and saying, well, I really feel I've put in so much time and effort and I want to be doing certain things and I don't see that. And then I have to say, well, not everybody's the same and everybody has a different passion. And it's for me, it's been a really deal breaker in just that part. I mean, you could look at people that are looking at the way their bodies look, and you go, wow.
Comparison.
That too.
Comparing their
And you
bodies.
look at the age, I see women around my age and they're doing certain things I can't do yet. But it can become very overwhelming and depressing. It just can.
And so you're saying because of all that comparing, it
Mhm.
really kills your confidence.
Oh
And
my
then-
God.
and
it
your
definitely
self-esteem,
can. Oh,
right?
absolutely. But I have tools and I see what it is that's really triggering me. And I go in and I look and I see, what is this? And 9 times out of 10, it's probably the best gift that I can be given.
Yeah.
Because and it comes up all the time. Everybody has a different passion in this world. Everybody has something different to do. And you know what it reminds me of? Everybody has different fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're not all supposed to be doing the same thing. Otherwise, this world would be really
Very
boring.
boring. It really would be. And I think that, go ahead.
No, for you, I'm just curious because I'm certainly more in the generational, and I see you where you look at things so differently. And how does that work for you?
Well, I think that is true. I think my generation, it's interesting because if I look at my generation, we really didn't have a lot of that comparing because there was more socialization. There wasn't all of the internet, computers. There was more connection.
Mm-hmm.
So it was less of that than more of that
Mhm.
because you were more connected.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you actually had to get to know the person.
Right.
You had to have, a depth of conversation, more of a friendship. So, I mean, I'm not saying it didn't like happen, but it was less frequent. And so maybe I think for me, where it came up was the comparison that I wasn't as smart as everybody else because of my whole learning story
Right.
disability. So I think that's where internally
Mhm.
I kept trying to be something that I wasn't,
Mhm.
trying to keep up with people that I couldn't keep up with because I didn't learn that way. I didn't learn, I didn't get it, I didn't understand it. So where it affected me is it affected my self-esteem,
Mhm.
obviously my worth, right? Because if
Right,
I
yes.
and not
Yeah.
feeling like I was enough.
Right.
So I think that's where it also can come up too in the comparison is where you basically have something that you're insecure about.
And then it just
And then something
pops
will
it.
trigger
Yeah.
it. And where I generationally didn't have the social media so intact, it wasn't as intense,
Right.
but it was intense enough for me because I was comparing myself to others that could understand information more than I could.
Right.
So thank God in a way,
And I think
because I was already doing a good job beating myself up then.
and I think it really primarily started through COVID. I really, really do, because people didn't have that going out and connecting with people. So where did you connect? You connect on the internet,
Yeah,
and so I think that's a lot of it. And that's where it started as well.
yeah. And I think that, the more that you can have gratitude for your life, right? And try to limit the social media as much as you can.
It's addicting.
It is.
It's very
So
addicting.
give yourself a time limit or something, an hour here, maybe an hour in the morning or a half hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon. Like really get your limits on that.
And then do things that you love. It's so important to have the balance that when you're on that, look at kids today, they go to the restaurants and they're on their computers and there's no interaction. It's so certain, no socialization.
And we talked about the trigger of it all. And when you can see the trigger, right? You see something on social media and all of a
they're
sudden
doing
you're like,
something. Yeah.
why can't I do that? Once you see that, you're triggered. And then how you can reframe it. Wow, how do you really know what's going on in that other person's life?
Yeah,
you don't know.
You
So
have
what's
no
good
clue.
about your life?
And then you just
Pick
reframe
something.
it. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you know what? I have beautiful blue eyes.
Mhm.
Great. You know,
Yeah,
what would
no,
some,
I,
anything that could take you out of the trigger. And maybe it's like we said, limiting your social media.
and I also think that when you get that knowledge for yourself, it also is showing you not everybody's going to be doing what you're doing. And not everybody's good in the same things that you are. And I think that's an important thing to remember as well. And it's just a process of elimination because I'll see things on the internet today and I'll go, did that out. You know, it doesn't have that charge. But then
Right.
there are times when I see people, and you know that better than anyone, and it's just doesn't help. It really doesn't.
And I'm sure people that are listening can really
Yeah.
relate to the social media aspect of this conversation and how it triggers, because you think you should be doing what other people are doing because you see it, and then you're like, well, why am I not doing it?
Right.
So again, just taking it back to yourself and reframing it and saying, you know what? I don't really know what these people are doing. It looks great, but maybe, and it could be a motivator. You see it and you're
And
like, you know what? I
yeah.
really want to learn how to ice
And I've
skate.
had that
I
too.
want to learn
Yes.
how to snowboard or
Yes,
ski or
100%.
whatever.
Yep.
Whatever it is you're looking at.
Yep. You
I
can
want to
use
learn
it.
that information so I could be more knowledgeable.
Right.
Even today, I was listening to
yeah.
something before this.
Yeah.
John Ashroff, he was talking about AI.
AI.
I'm not an AI girl, but you know what? I thought, let me listen to this. It was very interesting. So opening your eyes to new things
Yeah.
could help you have more confidence, right? And make you feel better.
And
about
it's
yourself.
and also it's good. There's a lot of good information out there as well. Look at if someone does something and how they can save somebody else's life because they saw somebody do something and something happened to have occurred and they used it and they saved a life.
Yeah.
So it can work both ways.
Yeah. So with that, I think
Yes.
it's
So we
really going to be
ready?
time. But before we speak to our
Yeah.
beautiful guest, we are going to hear from our sponsor. So we'll be right back with some action items and talking about this with Rochelle.
Yes. Raquel Soto. Ah,
Yay!
there she is.
There's our girl, Raquel Soto. Come on in.
How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to see you ladies again. And for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Raquel. I'm your GPS for success. I'm so excited to be here today. Such a good topic.
Yeah,
it
isn't
really
it?
is. But what before we go into the topic, why don't you share a little bit about you and what you're up to today and what you're doing?
Yeah, let everybody
Because we already know what you did for us and,
Yeah.
and Barbara and everybody else that's got your gift. So
But I know there's a lot more.
there's a lot more, I'm sure.
Yeah, I do. I'll just narrow it down to a couple things, but I'm one of those multi-passionate people. So when people are telling you to niche down, no, it doesn't work with me. I do have an umbrella, like everything kind of like does harmonize together, but I do many different things because I'm a multimedia artist as well and also do coaching. And so I just started to funnel that through. One of the ways I did that is through music. So the gifts that I have with coaching to be able to connect, to have empathy, to listen, and then to translate those feelings and emotions and thoughts back to my clients, I'm able to do that in lyrics. And so that's where you guys are hearing the theme song for this amazing show. We work together, so that's really fun. So I do it for like podcasts, nonprofits, books, events, for everything. It's been a lot of fun doing that work. I also am a publisher, and so I have an anthology coming up on 11/11 called "Saying Yes to the Whisper: How One Yes to God Changed Everything." Because we all have those moments, right, where we have this like little.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna take the risk. This doesn't make any sense, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then it kind of brings this amazing domino effect. So it's really a lot of stories of motivation and inspiration and making it multi-sensory for the reader. So we have like it's a bundle. So it's like a physical book, a digital book, an audio book, community where the authors and the readers can hang out together as well. So that's really, really fun. Those are the main two things that I'm doing right now. That's not true. Then I also have my own television show doing season 2, One Breakthrough Now. And that starts, season 2 starts in September. And then I have from that this school community that I'm starting called Rewire Reality. And so that's my specialty, is helping people to rewire their brain. I use neuroscience, biblical principles, and like emotional regulation and things like that, merging those things all together so you can rewire yourself from the inside out, and then your whole world starts to rewire around you. So I love that. It's where I really get to geek out.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's like my
That's
biggest
awesome.
passion project.
Yeah, it sounds really amazing. Yeah, and that's what you love the most, or you love it all, really?
Oh, I love it all. It just depends on my mood. So I love doing the music because it's very creative. I get to talk to, amazing people with missions who love their audience. And I love watching people's like bodies and their whole face light up when they're talking about who they're called to serve. And so that's probably my favorite thing. I'm completely obsessed with that just because I get to talk to so many interesting people, find out
Yeah.
what they're doing, and then I get to co-create with them, right? I get to like take their heart and then put it to sound and make something internal because music lasts forever. So it's a really great way for people to connect with their audience. And then I get to participate in that.
That's amazing.
Have you done this? Like, what was the one thing that had you look to say, this is one of the things I want to do? Was there a special time in your life?
Well, I remember when I was thinking about this recently, it's like in high school, I used to always sing, but I was singing, everybody sings like at their locker, right? Or at home with their brush, in the shower. We're all great. And I remember when I was in high school and I was like, well, I didn't always sing. I would go, I guess I did. I was valedictorian in 8th grade. And so I sang for that. I sang in high school. And I remember my teacher, because I have a weird singing gift. Like I have almost a 4-octave range, but I don't know how to really use my voice. And so in high school, the teacher was like, Raquel, put your voice here. And I would just mimic the piano. So if you tell me where to put my voice, I can hit the notes. But it never like connected. Like it's almost like I remember my sister has all the athletic genes. So we're doing like this, the fast pitch, and I could not hit anything. Like I couldn't connect it. And then she's like, Raquel, just listen to my voice. When I tell you to swing. And then when I was swing, everything was a home run, literally. And then she was pissed because she's like, how are you hitting all these home runs? I'm like, well, you're just telling me when to swing.
That's so
Then I was able
funny.
to connect. So I was doing those kind of things in high school. But it didn't really connect until after high school.
I think that's a God-given gift
Yeah.
that you have. I really do. Let me ask you a question. Coming into social media, have you had incidents or an incident that worked against you when you saw and comparing yourself to somebody else? Do you have those things happen to you as well?
Oh, I think
Where does it
most
show
high
up for you?
achievers do, right? Because we're always one of the things that makes us so great at what we do, whatever it is, right? We're high achievers, we're people of excellence, and sometimes that same gift is our kryptonite. And so we always love like mindset and personal development and how can we do this better? But then that's also can be a trap because then we're looking at ourselves, we're looking at somebody else's, like touching on that. You're looking at somebody else's chapter 50 and you're in chapter 5. You're like, well, why aren't I? And now you're shooting, right? I should do this, I should do that. You're shooting all over yourself
Right,
instead of
yes.
going back to what you mentioned as well with the fingerprint. Like, what is my season? Like really having that wisdom to discern what season am I in and what chapter am I in? And is there like, triggers are great. I always say to people that triggers are great. Triggers are a grace point. It's allowing you to see something and it's activating something in you to look at. And so that's our opportunity to look at it with a positive light. But what we normally do is like, depending, especially for high achievers, we'll get very self-critical. It's almost like an autoimmune emotional disease where we'll start picking at ourselves because we're like, I want to be, and it's part of us wanting to be excellent. We want to deliver and we want to perform. We want to support. We want to serve at the highest capacity. But when we don't understand our own fingerprints, how we're designed, how we're wired to succeed, what is our path, and really just staying focused on that, it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to compare ourselves. We're like, well, we came up in the similar background, in the similar schools, or the similar age, and why is that person farther ahead? What you don't know, like you mentioned already, what's happening behind the scenes. You don't know what kind of support they were having. You don't know what kind of support in all kinds of areas that was having, and who told you that you are you're not where you're supposed to be. The
Right.
simple fact that you're aware of it lets you know that there's opportunity, right? It's all about perspective. There's an opportunity to level up, and then you can just say, okay, where am I now, and does this make sense? And if it's making you feel bad about yourself, right, where that, picking on the self-critical thing, it's like, all right, why am I feeling this way? Because we feel because of the way we think. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, what are my thought patterns here? What is my belief system? Where did I get that from? Who told me that? Who's
Yeah.
telling me? Right? Because there has to be some kind of agreement. Like somebody who doesn't know me, if they say something nasty about me, I'm just like, and you're not feeding
Oh,
me,
yes.
you're not loving me, you're not financing me. So why do I care what you think? Right? But if
It's so
somebody
true.
that I admire, or someone I'm looking up to, or somebody that I care about says something, then I have to evaluate, like, okay, is there any truth to what they're saying? And if there is, it doesn't mean that I have to take it as an offense,
Right.
or to take it in like there's something wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with us. There isn't. We're actually beautifully and wonderfully made. There's nothing wrong with us. It's just we all have lies that we believe, and sometimes that's part of the trigger. It's triggering us to think. So because thinking is a real gift, and then seeing, okay, what is the truth here? Not what I think is the truth. What is the actual truth here?
Well,
What's
yeah,
happening? And
Yeah.
I have the power to change it. Do I want to?
Right. And
And that's the part.
what wondering with what you're saying about the neuro side of it, your brain, because you said you mentioned that earlier. And I always think like, are some brains, and I think I might know, but you might want to highlight this, is that some brains compare more than others, right? Some brains have more trauma than others, where they take that to the umph degree and they sabotage themselves and they get really deep in it, when other people, they're just like, yeah, okay, but you know what, I'm gonna use that, you know what I mean? Their brain goes,
different.
I'm gonna use that, whereas someone else's brain that's more traumatized
Right.
says, and makes it like if it's the end of the world, they're gonna die from it, it's not gonna happen for them, right? So
Right.
I'm sure you can relate to that or speak into that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things, right? So we have our own personality gift clusters, and it's people who have a high degree of being a critical thinker. Their gift is to look at the holes. The gift is to punch it. The gift is to find all the ways it doesn't work, because we need brains like that to see, because they save us time and money and energy and frustration and stress, right? So they're really good at it, but they've been mislabeled as being negative Nellies. It's just because
Yeah.
they're not looking for the negative. It's just they're gifted in seeing all the ways it can't work, because that way they're really gifted and creating systems to make it work, right? But
Yeah.
if you don't know how you're wired to succeed, then you can use those own superpowers against
Correct.
yourself.
Yeah.
Or you have maybe, if you have a different kind of personality, where then maybe you're like more like very bubbly, and then you have people around you who don't understand that, then they start mislabeling you. Now you think there's something wrong with you, right? So there
Yeah.
is a thing of like there's a mix of your personality gift clusters that are there, and then understanding how you're wired to succeed through them. And there's also like what has happened to you. What were the environments, right? Because environments matter. We we wire ourselves with the rooms. So our rooms will rewire our brain. So if we have an environment of 0 to 7, that's one set. 7 to 14 is another set. 14 to 21 is another set. And then like adulthood. And then you have all those in between things. So there's a lot of nurture and nature happening at the same time. And so that's why your brain is still processing the way it processes, because we're all made the same way. However, right, think of it like a short circuit. So now
Yeah.
instead of going through all the 7 pillars of thinking, it's getting stopped somewhere, because there's your body's holding the score. Now there's an emotional trigger. And then people are like, well, I don't resonate with that. And it's like, it's not about resonance. Resonance just means agreement. Like a guitar, if I'm strumming on one side, the other, if there's a guitar in the other, it'll pick it up and it'll start almost singing back to me. But
Yeah.
resonance only means agreement. So then we end up going through these things. We don't trust our instinct. It's like, well, I really resonate with that person. And look, they stabbed me in the back. But it's really about understanding resonance just means agreement. And so then
Yeah.
pausing, like, okay, is there a peace here? How do I feel after the conversation? Do I feel like enlightened, empowered? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go kick some butt. Like, do I feel like Wonder Woman? Do I feel like, yes, I can do this? Or do I feel drained? Because even people we love, because of the way they communicate with us and how we're seeing them in that dynamic, they're the way they are, they're just circumstance. It's the way we're perceiving it, how we're receiving it. And even if we love somebody, if we're feeling drained, then there is either a miscommunication issue or really the perception. Why am I taking that in so heavily? As though that's gospel, as though like they're really reading into and coding my own DNA when we can do that for ourselves.
So where,
Hmm.
let me ask you a
Good.
question. Where do you feel for you in your lifetime? Because, I don't even know how old you are, but whatever your lifetime
51.
has been. 51. Okay. So I'm 1 year older, 52.
Mhm.
Okay. So in 51 years of your life, where was the biggest comparison that you had where you were comparing yourself that got you into killing your confidence?
Oh, so it was really against myself. So there was 4 different times that I tried to take my life, and all 4 times I was miraculously stopped. And it was
Mm.
because it was so much pressure having this, it was like the rewards were not enough, the payments were not enough, all the accolades were not enough, because there were people in my life who said that was really great, but you can always do better. Yes, that's
Mm.
true. But then it became like a lifestyle where
Mm.
nothing I did was enough. And so it was
Yeah.
like always comparing myself to myself, and why wasn't it better? And I can achieve more. There's a certain percentage. And so really that was my own internal perception
Yeah.
of hearing people that I cared about and loved and admired, and really took their words were very heavy in my life. It's like, oh, that was really great. Yes, but this can always be better. And then then came with the unsolicited critique, and it
Yeah.
always sounded like wisdom. And so
Mm.
I ended up deferring my own instinct to somebody else because I felt like they were wiser than I
Mm.
was.
Giving
And
the
even
power away?
I did. So, I would, because they were wiser in some ways, but I was also wise in stewarding my own life. And
Right.
until I came to that point of the like last time I tried to end my life, I was like, God, what is happening? There's like, I know I won't ever try to do this again, but you need to show me how to stop this. And that's how I ended up, studying neuroscience and quantum physics and
Mm.
emotional regulation to find out what is happening in my brain and my body and my heart to make me think that this was actually a viable solution. And it's like, oh, it really comes down to the beliefs. We are always living out our truth, whatever that truth is, even if it's not true, because that's how our
Right.
brain works. That's how our brain works. So until
Yeah.
I learned how to rewire those beliefs, I was like, okay, what is it? What is true? Or when I look at circumstances that trigger me, and I'm like, oh, well, why was I offended? Or why was I hurt? Or why is my ego bruised? Or like, why am I like, oh, that stung, and then like taking it back. It's okay. It's like not shaming yourself. A lot of times when triggers come, awareness comes, shame likes to come with it. And when you
Yep.
recognize it, oh, shame is coming up. No, I'm not going to receive shame. I'm going to be a scientist and step back from my emotion, be like, oh, this triggered me. That's interesting. Why? And then
Yeah.
when you start playing the scientist to yourself, right? Like Dr. Hill yourself, like, oh, this is okay. It's okay that I was triggered. It's okay that I'm emotional about this. It's normal. My body's having a reaction. Let me step back and be like, why? Where is this actually coming from? What's the memory that's coming up it's making me feel like this again? And then being brave enough to confront it. Because what happened was I didn't confront it. I was in toxic positivity. And
Mm.
because of it, I wasn't confronting. I would acknowledge it, but then I would try to rewire in the wrong way and
Right.
not
Yeah.
realize really what I was doing.
Yeah. So basically,
And
you would hear the information and then turn it around. So you didn't really look how it affected you. You just went with what they said. Okay, I'll just do better. I'll be better. and that pressure
Yeah.
got to you. Yeah, and that's okay. That makes sense for people
Yeah.
listening out there.
It
I'm
definitely.
sure they can relate to all of what we're sharing, and especially in the depth of where you were and how you were going to take your life, and
And,
I'm sure people can understand.
And
that are out there.
it always comes back to our childhood, where all those beliefs come from. I am a great believer of that. Or whoever it was, a teacher, whatever. But the science today, I do a lot of Joe Dispenza's work. And
Yeah,
it's
he's good.
all
He's so good.
about this. I mean, he
Yeah.
is phenomenal. And I love it because what's happening is that it's women and men and older people and children that he has that comes. And it's just the rewiring of your brain. And I find it so fascinating. Do you do any kind of meditating to certain things like that? What are some of your practices?
like actions like that
What
you
kind
take.
of practices do you do?
Well, first is understanding really how you're wired to succeed. So there's 7 pillars of thinking, and the top 3 for me, one of them is music. And so I love rewiring with music because, listening to subliminals or I'll create my own meditation music, or listening to specific songs when I want to really live that out. So I listen to that because the way your brain's going to rewire is either repetition, and your brain loves repetition, right? Music is great because it lowers your, defense mechanisms and your filters. So it allows the message to come in, or a high emotional event. So which you can do through your imagination as well. So either I will rewire, I'll do self-hypnosis, I do hypnosis for other people, which is a great methodology as well. EFTs, which is emotional freedom technique, which is tapping because it allows those things to come up and out of your body. So it's just a lot of different tools that we can use, but I like to use depending on my mood, right? Because they're gonna multi-passion. I'm just like, oh, today I want to do an EFT, so I might do like a tapping session on myself and listen to music. But music is probably one of the best, my favorite ways to do it because I can either create the music or find songs that I'm like, oh, I love the lyrics. This is like what I want to live, how I want to live my life. This is a dream right now. This is where I'm going. And then allowing my brain, because I'll just wake up and start hearing the song, which is great because I'm like, oh, it's already working. Because this song is like talking
got a
about
gift. You definitely have a gift in it for sure. You met us for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about the
that was
intro
it.
music, and that was it. And you created it. It was like, wow, it is a gift. It's a real gift. You hear through music.
And music, I think, is so healing, and it activates so much within one's person. And it saved my life when I was a very little girl, not even knowing it. But that's what happened. I had no voice, but I had music and dance. And that's how I survived many, 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 many years. So I get to see, and today I just like, if I'm happy, I'll start dancing. If I really want to get in deep, I'll put on something that just starts to activate an emotion, or I'll just meditate and something will come up.
Yeah, music is definitely the gift of bringing forth all kinds of emotion.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like scent, right? It's like a perfume or a smell. It's like it activates some emotions, some memories and stuff in you.
Mind blowing,
we
really.
used to have to, when you're angry, a lot of people can't be with their anger. They don't even know they're angry.
Right.
And so
we used to do anger
we
work.
used to do a lot of anger release.
Do you ever hear the 9 Inch Nails? Have you ever heard of that group?
Yes.
Okay, that group.
High school.
With that, hitting the pillows
and
with 9 Inch Nails, like going crazy.
Yeah.
But it allowed that all that anger to come out and through in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So that you're okay with.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was crazy, but it was awesome. It really was.
But they have rooms like that. I think they call them rage rooms.
Yes,
rage rooms, so you can go in and beat the crap out of everything.
Yes,
there's something to be said about it.
I think it's great. I
really will.
I do.
So, what are some of the other actions that really help you when you're, comparing, and how it's really helped you? Besides, obviously, which is a big one, the music. But are there any other ones that you can share for the people out there that are struggling with this?
Um, Focus is really great because we all do it anyway by default, but it's like you want to do it by design because you hear the phrase "what you focus on expands." But yes, but then what's the mechanism on it? So we have this thing in our brain called a default mode network. So think of it like that's your set point, right? And then you have your reticular activating system, which filters through your eyes, and it's looking. It's like, okay, what's my default? Well, every 10 seconds, your brain is checking in with the voice of your mind, which is the voice of your mindset. So it's like, okay, what do we think? What do you think about yourself? What are we thinking right now? What are you feeling? Where do you want to go? What are we doing? And then your eyes will be used to scan your world to draw you into those experiences to make you right. Your brain is always wanting to make you right. And so when you realize, okay, if I'm feeling some kind of way comparing myself and I'm not feeling good, it's because my focus has shifted from my calling. What am I called to do? What is my purpose? And sometimes the people get really obsessed with their purpose. And I said, okay, well, everyone has the same purpose, which is, you have to love yourself, so you can love other people and do good works every day. Keep it simple. What is the good work? If you don't have a clear path, look to do good every single day. And that's everyone's purpose. And whenever I start to, waver, it's because I've taken my eyes off of what I know I'm called to do in this season. And if you don't know what you're called to do in this season, this is why people like what you do is really important too, because there's so much noise in our outside and in our heads and in our hearts that we need people sometimes to come in, coach us through getting into back to our peaceful selves, connect to who we really are, and then we can see, right? Sometimes we need the help with the clarity, right? When we're sick, sometimes you have to go to a specialist. And so people like us, we're specialists. Go to a specialist. You don't have to be with us forever. Well, we're really good at what we do, and we can pinpoint, we can see the patterns, and then we can put you back on the path to the healthy of who you really are, your true self. And so whenever I get to that, it's that piece of, okay, who I have taken my eyes off of what I'm called to do. Does this make sense for this season in my life? And, is this really part of what I'm supposed to be doing? And if not, then peacefully is just like, oh, I'm okay. The answer is no.
Beautiful.
I have a question. I believe you have a child, a son.
I have 3. So I have 2 sons and a daughter.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you share this kind of stuff, obviously by your beingness, but have you shared all this kind of work with them on their levels, let's say?
Yes, and it's really irritating because they pay attention, and then when I'm in my funk, they'll start spitting back my own words back to me, and I'm just like, really. I was like, okay.
Well, it's such a great thing because you train them to give it to you. That's amazing. What great teachers. You're a great teacher.
It's kind of funny when my own words are like biting me in my own butt. I was like, oh,
exactly. Well, it's the same thing with me and her. She can't, it takes 2 seconds for her to get unplugged or get plugged. And it's because of the tools, right, that we have. We can always just grab our toolbox.
Yeah. And it's just so great to have that kind of relationship, primarily with your mom, your dad, or whoever. So we've worked individually and collectively together on a lot of different things. And it's important. It's just important to have the freedom of life instead of the struggles of life.
It's all a choice.
Everything is a choice.
I forgot to plug my battery in.
Oh, I thought it was a dog or something like next to you or something.
I was just like, oh no, where's my battery? Before it's like, you've got 2 minutes, 3 minutes remaining.
So, so anything else you want to share, about an action that people could take away with, something that can help them again? You've mentioned some great points, music, and stay focused on, why you're here, your focus. Why are you here? Most people don't even know why they're here. So they're often that world outside of themselves. So
and comparing.
Yeah. And that could be a killer. I mean, it really can, to not know why you're here. Could be you're a great mother I mean, you know what I'm saying? People think it has to be like a great CEO. It could be just,
Right.
honestly, it could be just a great friend. I mean, it could be just very simple. And I
I was
think,
I was running some stats around that because I was doing this workshop last week on 8/8, and I said, what happens if if our influence, right? We're looking at over 100-year span, and even if we're influencing people in our family, in our neighborhood, and that kind of goes maybe in the city, right? Because it kind of ripples out. We're
right,
talking about like at least 200,000 people because of what you're doing, because you're living authentically, and
mhm,
then if you have 20% of those people doing the same thing, where they're so like in tune with doing good works and loving other people and just showing up, whatever it is that they're called to do in that moment, whether it's being a great mom or a dad, or like, right, being all in into the
yeah,
current assignment,
Yeah.
and how it really ripples out through time. And that's an important thing, because the
yeah,
grave is the richest place on earth. It is a
yeah,
place where people go, and there's like books and musics and things that have not been invented, because people have this false comparison trap within
yep,
Yeah.
themselves,
yep,
and now they're hurting because the
mm,
thought, this misnomer of like, well, maybe somebody else should do it. Got to give somebody else that idea. But what if he doesn't? And so there's a presumption that the idea that we got will go to someone else, and that's not necessarily true. And so
no,
when we are not being all in whatever we're doing in the moment, we're actually hurting our current generation and the next one.
yeah,
Just be brave. We don't have to know everything. It's like, when you get the idea, the inspired idea of like going bigger, expanding with that, whatever that is, you're only responsible for the next baby step. That's it. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm open to the next baby step.
True. That's true.
Because when
Yeah.
babies are walking, when they start walking, we're like, what a loser. You've been trying to walk for like, 2 weeks. You should be running by now. Why aren't you running a
Right.
4-minute
Right.
mile? You
Yeah.
really suck. No,
Yeah.
what do we do? No, we go, come on. And then they fall and they look at us and like, that's okay, it's okay, get back up, get
Yeah.
back up. But we
And,
don't do that to ourselves. And we need to do
and
that
that's
to
so
ourselves.
true, because
It's
as new
okay.
mothers, how we have, and I know that from many years ago, how everybody compared you. Is your child walking? Not yet. Oh my God.
Or
How come?
peeing or pooping.
Or yeah, are they potty trained? Or listen, are they onto this kind of food? No. Oh
Yeah.
my God, how come? It really
It is.
starts
The
there.
social, whatever
Oh
they
my
say, those are
God.
social norms. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's normal, because every person's different in a lot of, and how
My
they,
sister didn't talk for years. I mean, like, my mother would sit her down and she would just sit there until she felt like getting up, and she wouldn't talk for a long period of time. And my mother took her to doctors, and they're like, there's nothing wrong with her. Finally, she got one doctor who just looked at my mom and said, there's nothing wrong with her. She just has nothing to say.
You
And
know
then it
what's
turns
so
out my sister
funny?
they have these things,
literally,
they have these little things on social media. It's so funny. They interview little babies coming out, and they're saying, so what do you want? What do you see now that you've been here for a minute? I want to go back in the womb. Or just funny,
Really very
funny
cute little
things. Very
things,
cute. It
really.
just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
but the thing is,
yeah,
like, now those are introverted people, right? They're not. It's funny because every introvert says I don't talk a lot. I'm like, but they tend to talk a lot around me. I have met an introvert who was not extroverted around me. But
that is so
introverted people,
funny.
right? They have these stories of like, you don't talk enough and you're not social enough and you should really get out there. It's like, but that's not how they're designed to
That's true. That
function,
is
you know?
so,
And so what if you're around a lot of people who are forcing you to be extroverted, that you think that there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. That's how you're beautifully and wonderfully made. That's why you
right.
didn't talk to people. That's why you have to
That's
go
true.
people, and then you have to unpeople yourself for 3 to 5 business days. It's okay.
Right. It's so funny. I had a friend, and I would say, and finally she got it after many, many years. She goes, I really get you like small groups. I go, finally, I'm a highly sensitive individual. I can't be around a lot of people. It's too much for me. So I like very small groups,
Yeah.
or just one-on-one, because it becomes a lot for my brain and my nervous system. So finally, she finally was like, wow, okay, I'm not going to invite you to that. I said, good, don't, because it's too
Yeah.
much. So, you have to know yourself. It goes
Yeah.
back to that, right? Know yourself,
Be true.
be true, right? I
Mhm.
really think you have to know
And I think
who
it's,
you are, and then be okay with it, and make peace with
Celebrate
it.
it.
Yes.
But
We're
I
all
think it's,
quirky, we're all weird. It's like celebrate your weirdness.
yeah. But I think it starts with being conscious. I
Well,
think that's
yeah,
the main thing is being conscious.
yeah.
And then, and when you wake up and you're conscious, you go, oh my God, I took those rose colored glasses off. Now what the hell am I going to do?
Oh my
But
God!
it's
But it's been
wonderful,
so
really.
amazing.
You're a gift.
Raquel,
You are
just to
an
be with
absolute
you.
gift.
You really are. And I know that Barbara has where people can find you, right, Barbara? She puts it
Yeah,
up
she
there.
puts it up as to
And
And
yes,
where they
yes.
can connect with you,
Yes.
because you have many gifts to share with this
Boy,
world,
do you ever.
and they'd be lucky to have you, as we've been
Thank
lucky
you
to
so
be with
much.
you.
Absolutely.
So I hope you know that.
And writing our song.
I mean, a gift from God, you
yeah.
are. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. I don't take those words lightly. It's really humbling.
Oh, you
I
are a
appreciate that.
blessing,
Good,
my
because
friend.
I really hope you walk away
Yes.
today feeling that you're a blessing.
You
So
are.
You are.
Yeah.
A blessing
you.
from God.
All right. Well, it's
We're
been a
wrapping it.
pleasure. We'll connect. I know
Yes,
we
we
will. We'll
will.
stay connected as we are.
We would love to. We really would.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, I would love that.
Again, thank you
Thank you.
from our heart.
So, all right, everybody. We
what a
great
Interview.
conversation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So stay tuned. We
Yeah.
will have a next episode in a little bit. We're
Okay.
coming back.
We are. You
it's
can't
gonna
get rid
be-
of us
it's
yet.
gonna be a powerful one. So we love you and we thank you.
And we do. We thank you from the bottom of our heart.
And we can't wait to be with you. From what? From our heart to yours.
Mwah.
In a world that's rushing, we slow it down, finding light